Saturdays, 2 o'clock means it's time for Hollywoodbets to, of course, bring you GameON. Hello, Mzansi. The international world will switch now its focus from the international scene to, of course, the club scene. And we here at GameON are no different as we focus on what will be happening locally with the Collie Knockout final just around the corner, including the return of the PSL just days after that. But for now, we'll talk about all that's happening out in England. And I do have my two guests. I am Caesar Mapien, of course, joined by Jairus Kosana as well as Shane McGregor. Shane, let's discuss the good times that are happening out in England. Plenty of surprises so far in the way the season has gotten underway. But let's talk about the games that will be coming up today. Some big ones, of course, to speak about. And I think arguably, for maybe a purist's point of view, or from a purist point of view, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest is one that may be of some serious excitement when you consider both of them on the same number of points, which we wouldn't have expected at this time of the year. Yeah,
both on the same points, and good to be here, by the way. But the difference is Forest are going well and Arsenal are struggling. I mean, how many games has it been that Arsenal haven't won a game?
Let's put it this way. Arsenal last won a game 5 games back. They've gone 4 without a win. When you look at Forest, yes, they lost their last game, but they've won 3 and also drawn 1 before that.
And gained very well. Yeah. And you know, to make it even better, is Edu's gone from Arsenal to Nottingham Forest as technical director. So just to throw that in. Big game, this one. You know, there's so much to play for. Arsenal, the break came at the right time.
Yeah.
You know, even though they lost players to all the different countries, but for them, the break came at the right time to try and get themselves sorted out. Forest came at the wrong time again because they were going well. I think a draw's written all over this one. I think there's going to be too much to lose. And I think both teams will settle for a draw come second half.
Whilst the return of Odegaard is seen as a huge positive for Arsenal, we spoke about it before the international break. They have had some serious problems, however, more so going forward.
That's the problem at the moment. They don't have an out-and-out goal scorer. And that's the problem. You know, once the goals start drying up from all the midfielders and wide players, what do you do then? So for me, that's their biggest problem. That's the way they play though, so what can we do? I mean, that's all part and parcel of their makeup.
Well, another interesting fixture to, in fact, look forward to. It's a toss-up in which is your favorite game of the year weekend. Manchester City at home to Spurs at the Etihad Stadium. City have lost their last 2 locally. They've lost famously 4 in a row now. Did that break come at the right time? And would it have been enough to help turn around the situation for Pep Guardiola?
I think the break came at the right time for both managers, to be really honest with you, because I think the Spurs boy was going to be fired anyway. Man City, because of the way how they've been going. You look at this game, I just feel that Man City have got much more staying power, and I think they'll get the job done against Spurs. If you look at their record at home, it's fairly good, so I think Man City will get the job done against Spurs, and I think he'll be looking over his shoulder. I would have got rid of him in the break, a new coach in. But anyway, that's all in all. I think City will win.
Well, City fans will be slightly concerned, including those of Arsenal and the likes thereof that are in the chasing pack behind Liverpool. Liverpool now 5 points ahead of City. Yes, there's still the famous December period to look into. Is that gap a concern at this point, or are we going to look into December first before we start to worry?
No, the gap's not a problem now. It's the end of December that if the gap is there like that, then it's a problem. But for now, it's not. You know, you got all these games going through. Man City, Arsenal gone through their bad patch. Liverpool will have a bad patch sooner or later. Once again, the opposite happened, Joe. They didn't want the break to come. They're going to a tricky place, Southampton. They always seem to struggle against Southampton, one of their bogey teams. I do think that Liverpool will have too much and will get the job done there.
At this point, I mean, when you look at Liverpool, they haven't lost in their last 5. They're firing on all cylinders. Defensively, things are looking solid as well. Best defence in England by a stretch of the imagination. Are they the best team in England so far this season? Is it safe to say that? Are England looking the best team in England? I mean, are Liverpool looking?
They're top of the log, so they must be there. You know, there's been times where they haven't been the best team, where they've struggled through and they got the job done. So you can call that the best team, yes, you know. They seem to know how to get the job done of late, which is a good thing. And that's the main thing. Even if you're playing badly and you win, that's a good thing.
How important is it for Slot to keep the focus where it is. Salah's already mentioned, without a doubt, that he's on his way out. It's his last season at the club, which may hurt a lot of the Liverpool fans. But now, how important is it to be able to keep the focus on the job at hand and keep them going at this momentum?
Well, I think for the players, they want to go out on a high note. So no matter what happens, they'll be giving their best because they want to finish the season off in their best. They want to finish a career off for Liverpool if they're going to be leaving on the high. So for motivation is not the big thing there. It's just a matter of keeping the heads down and keeping working. That's the main thing.
Well, I think many Liverpool fans will look at Southampton and think one win this season, the odds very much in Liverpool's favour. Another side that needs the odds to be very much in their favour is Manchester United against Ipswich, who've also won just one game so far this season. United have gone through the coaching change during the transfer window. Ruud van Nistelrooy told his services won't be needed going forward. There's a talk of a new change in system, a 3-4-3 system going forward. Your thoughts on United? New coach, same tools. Will it still be the same problems as we've seen in recent years with United?
Well, with United, it's going to take a while for him to get it right. He's trying to change the whole system, the way they play. He's trying to get an identity. He's going to have to do that over a time period. But for me, this game came at the right time for them because now they're going to be wanting to show their best with a new coach. So no matter who plays, they're going to be giving 120% effort. So I feel sorry for Ipswich. Whether he gets it right straight away, I'm not too sure. It's going to take time. And, you Man United fans are very fickle about the way things go. They want to get results straight away.
Yeah.
You've got to give him time. I will give him the season and then start looking for next season to build.
Okay. Now, have to quickly look at the log table here and ask you, with Liverpool famously 5 points ahead of City, as we've discussed so far this season, I want to talk about the chasing pack behind that. On 19 points, you've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, and Brighton.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a surprise. And Brighton, of course, will be in action as well over the weekend. Your thoughts on them against Bournemouth, but them being alongside the likes of Nottingham Forest in the chasing pack here. Is that a surprise for you?
It is a bit of a surprise. Brighton, it's not a major surprise for me because they've always been doing well and they got the right manager, they got the right players, and they've done well. Forest, it has been a bit of a surprise, but they also got a brilliant coach.
Sure.
For me, though, after this weekend, Brighton come up against a Bournemouth team who at home have got the upper hand over them. So I think there's going to be an upset this weekend where Bournemouth are going to take out Brighton. And I know I've been very waxing about the way they've been playing, but I'm going to go with Bournemouth this weekend just because of their home form against Brighton.
Also have to look at the bottom of the table here. There's, 4 clubs on single digits as far as points so far. Ipswich against Manchester United. Crystal Palace, huge surprise for me, at 7 points. Wolves, you predicted that they'd struggle this season, and they are. And Southampton right at the bottom on 4 points. For of those 4 sides, how dire is the situation to be approaching December and still be on single digits?
Very, very, very worrying.
All of them with one win, by the way.
All worrying about it because you know what, it comes December, the games come quick and fast. Don't have a big squad, you're going to be in trouble. So I think Wolves will get away with it this season again. But, all those teams have got to be looking over their shoulders and saying, we need to bring players in.
Interesting at the bottom with those clubs, all of them I've just mentioned on one win so far this season. Interesting at the top, of course, with the clubs trying to ensure that Liverpool don't pull away in as far as what's going on in England. And time to take a short break and say thank you very much to Shane McGregor on the other side of this. Time to discuss the big final happening, of course. That, of course, is the Carling Knockout Final. Magesi dreaming big up against Mamelodi Sundowns.
Wanna bet?
You are on.
Breaking news. Goko takes a Brian's challenge to a penalty shootout.
Aziz again.
Let's go.
Brian looks confident here. What? He's completely missed it. Here comes Goko. And what a kick! She's done it! She's done the impossible! Hollywoodbets, Azishege. Let's play.
Welcome back to Game On Now. Safe to say, in as far as the South African footballing eye, it will very much be focused on the Free State capital of Bloemfontein and the Toyota Stadium for the Carling Knockout Final. And what a game to look forward to. Magesi up against Mamelodi Sundowns, and got the joy of discussing this big game with Jerry Skosana. Jerry, great to be in your company. But first, let me remind you of something. This cup competition used to be known as the Telkom Knockout. Back in 2012, Sundowns were up against Bloemfontein Celtic. Celtic, which was then coached by Clinton Larson. And in the starting lineup was Limegani Umzava, who is now in the starting lineup, or should be in the starting lineup, for Magesi, coached by Clinton Larson. Celtic walked away 1-0 winners then. Mokorosi is the scorer. Do you think Clinton Larson, who's had the international break, not to worry about in as far as players going away to play international games? Sundowns players have all been busy in the international break, or mostly been busy. Do you think maybe Magesi could come in for yet another big scalping in this tournament in the final?
Thanks, Caesar. But one thing that I'm looking at, it's like when you look at Magesi when they started the Cullen Cup knockout, I mean, the last 16 was an away game, quarter-final, away game, semi-final, away game. So they're going to play the final, away game again. So if maybe you look at those stats in terms of them being good playing away, well, I can give them a little bit of, something where maybe they can come up with. But what you're saying, you're talking about in terms of Clinton Larson, Limbigani Mzava, being there when they beat Sundowns 2012 in the then Telkom Cup. They're going back to Bloemfontein, where they had a good...
and they won for Celtic,
They won for Celtic. So, maybe that will be an advantage to those people, and then especially if Clinton takes it to his players to say, this is the history that I've got against this team. Yes, it is a big team, but don't take Sundowns away from that. I mean, you look at Sundowns, the players that are coming from Bafana now going to play in the final, how motivated they are. Winning away from home in Bafana, winning Cape Town, what a good display. Sundowns players are like on top of their game.
I have to also look at an important stat here. Sundowns, 5-0 first game, 4-0 second game, 2-0 third game in this tournament. They haven't conceded a goal. They're scoring many goals.
Let's hope this time they will concede.
Yeah.
Let's make this
it should be interesting.
Exciting.
Yeah.
It should be exciting and interesting on the day. Let's at least Magesi score one, even if Sundowns score 4 or 5. But at least should have conceded, because it's going to be something else if Sundowns win with a 0. I mean, last 16, quarter-final, semi-final, final, not conceding a goal. Wow, what a great achievement that would be. I mean...
Well, if we're going to give it to Sundowns, we also have to give it to Magesi. I mean, except for the game against Orlando Pirates where they won 3-2 away at the Orlando Stadium, they've also not conceded a goal in the other 2 games. So defensively, they've been somewhat sound, barring the game against Sundowns. So we mentioned again Umzava and how important he's going to be in this match against the likes of Peter Shalulile, keeping them in check. But defensively, they should be slightly confident.
Yeah, but they mustn't forget that they're playing the whole... continent players, I can't say a team as such. I mean, if you look at the guys like Shalulile, you look at Ikram Reyners as well, I mean, being in the Bafana, all these, most of these players from Sundowns, they are from the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. I mean, it's a motivation on its own. So for me, yes, I would give the edge to Sundowns, but let's not just take it away from Magesi. They might come with that surprise, but if I have to give it, to say who's going to win, well, it will be obvious for me. It will be Sundowns.
Now, we have to talk about your favorite player, Wonderboy Makubu. Up against the likes of Umvala. Defensively for Sundowns, also another that's been great in recent times for Sundowns and also for the national team when needed. The experience will be crucial here. How do you think Wonderboy will fare against some of the experienced Sundowns players who do it internationally and in the Champions League?
I think for me, to go for Wonderboy, honestly speaking, it's the way he's conducting himself as a striker. It's not just a striker that will score goals, but a striker that will confuse defenders to create spaces for his colleagues to take advantage of that. And that's what he's doing best. I mean, I've been in that predicament before. I know what he's doing best. And that's exactly what gives me to say I echo him in everything that he does as a striker. So for me, if Sundowns says to concede a goal in this final, I think Makubu would be the one scoring it. Makubu would score.
All right, now let's talk the venue. I was talking to Shane a little bit earlier, and he was saying to me, it's a perfect venue for this particular final. Bloemfontein once again. For the setup for Sundowns against Makesi, could you find a better home than Bloemfontein? Were we expecting the football-loving fans from the Free State to come out and show their love for this game?
You know, if we talk about that, for me, I would just divert a little bit away from that, and then I would come and say to you, Sizwe, we were watching Bafana Bafana on Tuesday in Cape Town. I saw the green and white. They were there, you know. So it shows like Bloemfontein on its own, they love football. So even if it's not a team that they support, but the stadium would be packed. And there would be green and white, even though there's no team that is wearing those colors.
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect venue that was picked by PSL. So it's gonna be exciting because already I think it's almost tickets being sold out. Yeah, so it's for the people of Bloemfontein. They always wanna show us as South Africans that they love football. They were only starved of that because they didn't have a team that they had to follow. But yeah, it's gonna be a good venue like tonight, but let's see what's going to happen.
Well, the spotlight very much on the Free State capital. It's David up against Goliath. It's the calling knockout final, and well, we will hope for a good game here. We take a short break, come back and discuss what's happening locally with the return of the PSL, including a focus on one of the teams in the Hollywoodbets Super League. Welcome back to Game On. Now, it is worth noting that at the end of the weekend, come the start of the week, we will return to our bread and butter, which, of course, is the PSL games to look forward to on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday is Chippa United, SuperSport United, Kukune against Galaxy, Royal AM against Golden Arrows. But we'll talk about Kukune and Galaxy. Galaxy are the only team winning so far this season. Right at the bottom of the log standings, Unzima against this Kukune side. I need to point out that's been in a decent run of form. Is Kukune. They've lost one, won 3, and drawn 1 in their last 5. So, hey, no problems there, Alex.
A lot of problems. I think if you look at like the departure of the head coach, then I mean the assistant taking over being the head coach now. Let's hope it's gonna change the attitude of the players because sometimes playing personnel get a problem with the head coach and then they show it inside the field. So let's hope maybe that was not the real reason for TS Galaxy, because if you look at their history, quality players that they've produced under the same coach that just departed. So for me, it's not a good running for now. I mean, they're like at the bottom of the log, if I'm not mistaken, and they're playing a team that is doing well, as you've said. 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 lose. So Kukun as well might take advantage of that, but I think I will give credit to what Lihlono Losema is doing at Sekukune with his technical team. So yeah, it's going to be a closely contested game, but I can give it to Sekukune for now.
Well, there's games to look forward to on Wednesday as well. Cape Town City up against Polokwane City in the Battle of the Cities, and another big one, Kaizer Chiefs up against Richards Bay. Both these sides have had their problems. Chiefs haven't won in their last 3. They've lost 2 of those 3. Richards Bay, they've got their own troubles. They haven't won in their last 5. They've lost 3, drawn 2 in their last 5. Both these sides need a turnaround. So, this international break is right for one.
I think it's Kate's right. I think there was a lot that Chiefs, especially the coach, that has to do with the players. I mean, if even the management, if you come and give the players a pep talk and tell them this is a big club and where we are, we're not doing well. I mean, it was the right time to give that, to have that break and talk about it. Let's see how they're gonna fare against Richards Bay. But also Richards Bay, you know, Truta, he knows he won't have enough time to be there, even if he's coming back home. But somehow, if he doesn't give the results, the door is open. That's his worry now. So it's going to be a closely contested game, but I'll give it to Chiefs. And also to talk about the Chiefs goalkeeper, Ntuare. I watched him play for his country on television in the Africa Cup of qualifiers. What a goalkeeper. He was splendid. So this is something which I thought he needs to bring back to the club. Because you know what happened when they lost to Sundowns 4-0 in the Carling Cup, being pelted with missiles after conceding 4 goals. So it wasn't good, but I've seen his brilliance.
So for Ndwari, that international break coming at the right time, and as far as maybe getting his confidence back up to where it should be for the return of the PSL. Now, time for us to switch focus here as we have Hollywoodbets team focus on the team from the Hollywoodbets Super League, that of course being the UJ Ladies.
Universities. They form a key part of our football ecosystem, both in the men's and the women's game. Some players may finish high school and they're not quite ready for the top flight game, so another step is needed in their journey. In the women's game, we have seen UWC ascend to great heights. TAX and TUT produce quality players time and time again, and another team we have to throw into the mix is the University of Johannesburg, commonly known as UJ.
We've got good institutions all around the country who are playing good football, but UJ, I think when you come to UJ, the brightness of that orange just speaks a lot in terms of the confidence that we have and also the style of play that we always are using on the pitch, you know. So I think UJ is one of those top teams, especially in university football, that you want to align next to. You don't want to come up against them.
I think this is a family away from home. We are a team of youngsters. We are energetic. We are joyous every time. So being part of this group means a lot to me. We are young, but I always learn something or two from my teammates. I always know that I have people who support me, who have my back. UJ, we're just full of sisterhood. It opens so many doors on and off the field, outside, inside football. You learn a lot from technical staff, groundsmen, people that cook for us. UJ is just an environment where there's a lot of growth if you really pay attention.
Coached by former Banyana captain Ntabeleng Modiko, who's also known as Dunga, this season in the Hollywoodbets Super League, UJ have stepped up in their progression as a top flight team, securing a top 4 finish, and you get the sense that the best is yet to come.
I mean, this year it just shows how much we are able to do something if we put our mind to it. I mean, jumping from position 9 to 4th in a couple of months with the same training, same coach, same game plan. So 3 years, I feel like it's too much. I'm saying give us a year. We will compete more than what we've been giving as a team. But yeah, we are capable if we put our minds to it as a team.
Yeah, you cannot just be excellent on the pitch. You also have to be excellent off the pitch. You are an ambassador, you know, you have to impact the community positively. We're always looking to have like a holistic human being, not only the player, not only the, you know, whatever discipline you are in terms of your studies. We want to see that you can be able to achieve, you know, you've got all those opportunities. You can be a doctor and still be excellent on the pitch. You can be a scientist and still be excellent on the pitch. That's exactly what the UJ way is.
Coach Modigo praised the efforts of the Super League title sponsors Hollywoodbets and their drive to add more professionalism in the women's game, and who knows, maybe UJ can push for the title in the coming years.
They've managed to show us that the professionalism can be attained. You know, these are just glimpses of what can be done. Seeing the girls playing on TV, having their families watching them, seeing some of them getting those individual awards where, you know, you are the player of the match and you've got something that's coming to your pocket as well, an accolade, you know, something that you can always look back to in terms of trying to motivate yourself. I think that is something, it's a good stepping stone. Hollywoodbets coming on board, they've changed a couple of lives, you know, they've managed to make us, help us see what can be attained. You know, some of these girls, I think the other reason they want to come to UJ is because we want to be able to be on TV to play in the highest league. So, again, kudos to them.
I am Refilwe Tandumaseko, UJ captain, and you're currently watching Game On.
Well, it is almost the season for giving, and Hollywoodbets doing its bit in giving to the beautifully South African game, and nice to see what they're doing, of course, in supporting the Hollywoodbets Super League, and that's to see what's happening in the development of UJ as one of the teams that's up there in trying to ensure that they snatch the title away from Mamelodi Sundowns. Time's up, and it's time to say goodbye to you. Until next week, I'd like to take the time to thank both Jerry Skosana and Shane McGregor, and from myself, Sizo Mapena, and the rest of the team that is behind the scenes. Click, click, bang.